Exhale. Cubs almost lost a close game, but they stormed back thanks to their captain. Plus, the top prospect is up. Let's talk about it now.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, Cubs fans. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. We are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And thank you to all our everydayers who listen or watch us all year long, from the regular season to the offseason. And right now, the push for the playoffs. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into discussion with you on all things Cubs. Today's episode is presented by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed with Game Time. So much to talk about on this episode, and we're going to lead off with the game as the Cubs led 3-1 with 2 outs and nobody on in the bottom of the 7th. But Jose Cuas allowed 3 runs as the Rockies took a 4-3 lead and held it into the 9th when the Cubs were able to answer back, courtesy of Mr. Clutch, Yan Gomes, a 2 RBI single, as the Cubs did prove victorious at Coors Field. Cubs improved to 78-67 with 17 games left. Sam, I know you haven't eaten yet. Certainly a sense of relief, and it was nice to see them answer back in what could have been a bad loss.
Yes. This game was a roller coaster. There were some questionable decisions. There was some bad luck. There was a lot of things I thought that it just felt like, Matt, when the Rockies took the lead and then Bellinger grounded into that double play in the 8th inning. Yeah. After Horner got that hit, it just felt like it was a loss, and it had a feel like that. And then the irony is that the bad luck the entire night turned when Dansby Swanson hit a well-struck ball to left that off the bat I actually thought was hit much better than it was.
Yeah.
And then it was dropped. It was dropped by the left fielder, and this led to a huge inning, and it led to Yan Gomes.
Crazy.
Who, I poked fun at in the offseason, and can I just read you some Yan Gomes material, please?
It's been unbelievable.
I'm going to read you some Yan Gomes material. In wins, Yan Gomes is batting .305, .350, .472. In high leverage situations, he's hitting .321, .381, .415. You go, we go used to be for Dexter Fowler. It should be for Yan Gomes. Yeah. Dansby Swanson gets this unanimous, he's the leader of our team. Yan Gomes put a C on his chest. And let's not forget, too, in a very weird game, sometimes you could forget about the starter, Jordan Wicks, who's never even sniffed the devil that is Coors Field, came in and completely shoved again, and has not only stabilized this rotation, but has made it exponentially better. So credit to him, because, and I don't know if I could say this, but he's got some stones.
Why wouldn't you be able to say that?
I don't know if I could say it on air, but whatever he has, he's got it, man. That kid is fearless.
Absolutely. He's insane. His ERA is in the 1.9s now, and the time that he's logged in the show. And Yan Gomes has been ridiculous in big moments, and he's caught every single one of these pitchers from the Iowa train back to Wrigley and then some. And Wicks is one of the many.
Yan Stones.
But to allow only 3 hits and 1 walk and 1 run in Coors is making another statement. He's now made 4 statements in his first 4 starts to lefty Wicks. And Gomes being ridiculous in those big moments. And you talk about the luck because so many hard hit balls, so many balls that were well traveled, none of them falling.
None.
Swanson gets the single or the double, Happ walks, and then with the 1-0 count, they pull off a double steal.
Great call.
And Gomes with 2 strikes goes up and gets a pitch that's a ball and hits it in the left center for what was the win. Shout out to Drew Smiley.
Yeah, he pitched well.
Who cleans it up after an absolute debacle by Jose Cuas.
Yeah.
And Michael Fulmer with some Houdini action. His first appearance since August 24th. He was able to shut the door. So a sense of relief is a good way to put it. There's been so many moments similar. It felt different. It has for a bit, even entering the 9th. And once that ball fell and Swanson stood on second, you felt good. And sure enough, they were able to come through.
Yeah, and somebody just commented, it's a great point. Not only on that double steal for Gomes was that big, but it was also a strike that the ump didn't call because he was blocked, which, probably saved Gomes a little bit. It was one of those games where if they lost, 5 of your last 6 games that you lost would have been absolute heartbreakers. They needed to get one of these back. They did. The bullpen's a little bit messy right now. We'll talk about that later on with Adbert, but, at this point, it's not about how, it's just not. It's not like you're a kid, in 4th grade math, and the teacher says, "I don't care what the answer is. I want to know how you get there." It's the opposite. It's what I just care about the result. I don't care if Drew Smiley, had to throw 50 pitches. Whatever you got to do to get wins, that's what you got to do. And you're in a situation now. The Diamondbacks were able to come back and win, but the Marlins, got blown out by the Brewers. So like I said on, today's show earlier, on Monday's show, you still very much control your own destiny. Just keep racking up wins. And the one thing I'll say about this team, and I said it on Monday's show, is I don't like the whole narrative of when they lose a couple games. You could be concerned, but a couple losses don't mean chokes. It doesn't mean they're collapsing. They're the opposite. They really rise up and play their best when their backs are against the wall here ever since, early July. So, I give them a lot of credit. The double steal was big. Wasn't a huge fan of how the rest of the inning played out. And listen, the Cubs got thrown out on the bases twice. One of them was just a perfect throw. I mean, it's a good send by Harris on that Suzuki one. I mean, it was, according to StatCast, it was the best throw of the season from an outfielder. 102 miles an hour. And then, like you said, early in the game, I mean, how many balls? Gomes made one out tonight. It was a 407-foot fly out.
Yeah, I mean, even like the first swing of the game, if you go that way back.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Morel hit one deep. That's right. And then Horner got robbed by Blackman. They're in a good spot. That's why this win is big. Just keep doing what you're doing, and the results will come. And this was a really big win and a big start to the road trip, just because it wasn't a bad loss, really.
A big win on what was a big news day. Cubs promote their top prospect in PCA. Let's get to it coming up next. Today's episode is brought to you by Sleeper. Your fantasy baseball team may be out of it, but there's a great way to continue playing fantasy and maybe even make up for lost seasons with Sleeper's daily fantasy picks. Sleeper is now offering up to 100 times payout for up to 8-pick contests. Choose as many as 8 players that you like and pick more or less on your favorite baseball stats. PCA stolen bases, Horner hits, Bellinger home runs, steals, strikeouts, and more. Use promo code Locked On. You'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Check out Sleeper today. The Cubs play the Rockies at 7:40 p.m. Central Thursday. A little bit of an odd time. And you can listen to every pitch with the Cubs hometown broadcast on SiriusXM. On the SXM app, search Cubs or tune in to channel 844 and catch the Cubs all season long on SiriusXM. Monday morning, news broke. First, ESPN's Jeff Passan that the Cubs promoted top prospect Pete Crow-Armstrong, who was activated for Monday's game. We'll talk about his first appearance in a minute. PCA is a consensus number one prospect in the Cubs system and a top 10 in all of baseball. 80 grade in center with many strides this year offensively. Pretty good time to do it, Sam, on the road this week and in big ballparks for the Rockies and Diamondbacks.
100%. I think that's part of it. Very exciting. I don't expect this to be a Canario situation, but with me, Matt, just speaking on his debut Monday evening.
Yeah.
Look, he came in to pinch run. He was part of a hit and run, then got thrown out at third, and then he bunted. I don't know if that was Ross's call or his call.
Right.
Here's what I'll say about PCA. He can help the team that way, but that's not who he is. He's a star, and I would like to see him get a chance to be a star. I have been the number one proponent, advocator for Mike Tauchman, but he just quite frankly has not produced in a while. And I want to see PCA. He won't lead off tomorrow, but I would like to see it.
Me too. I would hit him second.
Yeah, I'd like to see him hit and be in the field. I want to see what this young kid could do on the biggest stage, Chicago Cubs baseball postseason. I'm not interested in him as a pinch runner. I'm not interested in him bunting guys over. I'm not interested in any of that because I think that this young man is the second best prospect that we have ever seen don a Cubs uniform. The best one is actually wearing the other uniform, playing his 66th ball game of the year. And I want to see what he can do on the big stage. I think very highly of him. I think he's a star. Let him loose and let him go.
I have to say it hit me in the feels as the sentimentalist on the show when PCA showed up to first and KB gave him a head nod there. That was
it was very interesting because, sorry to cut you off, but
two universes in Cubsdom.
Yeah, and people say, well, Bryant, I'm not talking about what they turned out to be. I'm just saying when Chris Bryant made his debut for the Cubs, he was the highest regarded guy they've ever had. And to me,
even close.
When you consider the center field defense and what he's been able to do offensively in his floor, I think he's right there with a Javi or right there with a Russell, or I think he's ahead of a Schwarber. I think he's one of the top guys, and he's the future. He's going to be a part of this team. And I'm not saying Mike Tauchman shouldn't have a say. He should still be playing a little bit. But I'm saying if you have to give Tauchman a blow, I'd like to see PCA get a chance to do something, especially like you said, in a big ballpark like Coors Field defensively, where he could just run around like he's, free as a bird.
PCA's ascension in part, Sam, was one of the three keys to a successful season.
And here we are.
And he made it all the way to the big league Cubs across two levels this year, /283, 365, 511, 20 home runs, 82 runs batted in. I didn't even realize the power numbers were that high, and 37 stolen bases, although everybody's hitting, I suppose, especially at AAA. But this is the most exciting call-up that you could make. Yep. And not only is it exciting, not only does it bring juice and maybe helps with a lot of the grind and sludge of the long year and 17 games left, but it helps the Cubs win games right now. And I'm not disinterested that he would make a pinch runner appearance or just the last 3 to 6 outs in center. But it's clear, crystal clear, that there is a bigger role for him on this team. And is he going to play every inning? No. Is he going to start against lefties? No. Right. But, it's nice to see him get a look in the first game he's available. I expect him to start on Tuesday night and bat 8th or 9th, which, is a fine landing spot for him.
Yep.
As his first big league start. But yeah, this is not a Canario situation. This is not, a situation where he's going to just be an observer. I think he can really help them win. I think it's true. He can inject some energy in there, but on the surface, he does improve the team immediately. Tauchman was starting to, I know he's had highlight reel plays, but he is not, in center field, it's not even close with even Bellinger.
Right.
So he's got to be out there to close the games. And it would be great to see him start games too.
My biggest advice to PCA would be if he watches this show, which I'd say there's probably a 95% chance he doesn't, but maybe a 5% he does, is don't over try and fit in. Just be you. Be that flamboyant, big personality. I mean, I've watched a lot of them in the minors. He's good and he knows he's good. Be that guy.
That's good.
Go ahead and sure, you don't want to try and do too much, but so what? In your head, think about being the difference and the guy that gets them across the finish line. Because I know what I was thinking. I was thinking a little back foot slider to Gomes, hit by pitch, bases loaded, no out. PCA puts one in the deep right field,
like a triple or something,
and we would have had 1,500 live viewers right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's
for his first appearance, I think he passed that test then, based on what you're saying.
Yeah, I didn't like the bunt. I didn't. Man on first, nobody out. Mastrobuoni has a good chance to steal. If PCA grounds into a force out, he has a good chance to steal. It's Coors Field. It's a struggling pitcher. I hope that was a call from Ross to where it forced him to do that, because that's not who he is. Don't try. And I get it. You're trying to fit in. We're all like that. Hit a base hit through the first and second base hole there. First to third, steal second, create havoc.
I think that's true.
But yeah, it was fine, and I really, really, really hope he's in the lineup. I mean, what a better landing spot for him than to play center at Coors Field and hit. I mean, he should be in there.
Yeah, and I actually do understand one of Ross's positions that many don't, in that you're riding with the guys that got you there.
Yeah.
But when it's clear that you have a player who makes the team so much better, then that quote becomes minor, because you have this better player that's going to contribute right away. Let's see what happens. That's my biggest thing, is like, you don't know unless you try it. I understand the games are important, but he seems capable of it.
Yeah, and people are saying in the comments that Ross did call the bunt, so that's good to know, and also a bad call from Ross, but
good call on the double steal.
Great call.
So
great call on the double steal.
And I do wonder,
unless they did it on their own.
I do wonder if Candelario is going to have more of a part-time role.
Yeah, well, he's hurt too right now.
Right. In this iteration of the team, with him scuffling, and maybe with the back injury, I think his time might decrease as well as Tauchman. So
yeah, I mean, Candelario's quality of ABs the last 2-3 weeks has been really concerning. So I could see that. The thing about this Cubs team is if they like started over from like zero right now, the amount of position player depth that they have is nuts. I mean, it's nuts. I mean, it really does make it for people. Nobody's going to be happy about the lineup every day, because there's just, I mean, third base is Madrigal, could be Candelario, Morel DH, Swan. Really, the only fixtures every day at this point are Gomes, Swanson, Horner, Bellinger, Happ, and then Suzuki. There's like three guys that just always could be rotating, whether it's Tauchman or Wisdom or Morel and Madrigal and now PCA. Like, they just have a lot of guys. So, it's a good problem to have. And
when there's good players, it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, and hopefully they feel that way about their bullpen soon. But we're going to talk a little bit about an injury here. So
let's do that. One goes to the IL, one returns, both with the same injury. We review that coming up next. Today's episode is also brought to you by Game Time. Buying tickets to your favorite event shouldn't be stressful. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. With killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun you'll have. Cubs return to Wrigley Field next week. Last homestand of the season with the Pirates and the Rockies, and you can snag those tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed with Game Time. Adbert Alzolay placed on the IL with forearm tightness, and Michael Fulmer was activated from the IL after missing time with the same injury. Alzolay was not sharp recently, and he is now eligible to return last week of the season with only 6 games remaining. We talked about Fulmer's appearance already. Sam, what do you think about this? Because I know you were seeing Alzolay run into a wall. He did have a whole week off, and then he came back, and now he's going to miss some time again.
I think it's the right move. It sounded like from Adbert that he'd been pitching through it, and he just hasn't looked good in a while. I mean, I've said it on this show at least a half a dozen times.
Exactly.
Even going back to Saturday, it's just there's something missing. He doesn't have that bite. Go watch Adbert Alzolay come into guaranteed rate field in one of those comeback wins when he was throwing 98, 99 with zip, and then look at the guy that's pitched his last 6, 7 times out. It's 2 different pitchers. One of them's an elite closer, and the other one is not a good reliever. It's that big of a gap. And so I think they need to – I know it's tough because you're in a pennant race, but if the ultimate goal is to win a championship.
Let's go. Come on.
Now, is that realistic? I don't know, but that's the goal.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Doesn't matter if it's realistic.
Right. And if you're going to do that, he needs to be at his best. And the only way I think he's going to get at his best is if he gets some rest. There's a reliever that started and was the best Cubs starter the first month of the year that's going to be back maybe by like next week that could give them a lift. Man. And we talked about
what
that.
If he's the closer?
No, you never know. That would
be so crazy. Stroman in the 9th.
Oh, that would be, he would really be up for that.
Oh my gosh, striking out that, you know what, Yelich? In the 9th? Wow.
Yeah, look, it's. I hope he gets better and comes back for the home stretch. In the meantime, you're going to see a mix of until Stroman comes back. It'll be Merriweather's ball in the 9th inning. Yeah. Leiter's going to have to step up. Fulmer's going to have to pitch better than he did. And I believe Brad Boxberger is back with the club. He's somewhere, somebody needs to put a radar on him. Where has he been? But let me tell you, Matt,
he was gone for literally 5 months.
You shrug your shoulders, but these relievers are so weird. Maybe he just comes out and gives you a good month. I don't know. I
guess I shouldn't dismiss it, but he last pitched on May 13th.
Yeah, no, but maybe he needed. I don't know what's wrong with him. I still don't know why he was hurt.
Yeah, I think it was forearm.
Oh, that's just everybody's just got a forearm injury on this.
Yeah.
Somebody go to a doctor.
Yeah, it's in flux. Obviously Quas didn't have it. He should be a peg down the rung.
Yes.
I didn't realize his ERA is actually quite deceiving. Maybe you did talk about it last week.
Yeah, it was like 0.62 coming into today or something.
Yeah, but the truth is he hits and walks every other dude.
Yeah, no, Ross loves him.
It was just a lot of escapism. So
Smiley's been fine out of the pen.
I'd like to see Smiley and Wisniewski more in pockets.
Yeah, right.
Boxberger, no. Understand what you're saying, but no.
You're going to see Boxberger on Tuesday night.
Boxberger will go down next week when Stroman comes up.
You think?
Right? Or will Palencia go out?
Ooh, that's a great question.
It'd be one of those two.
Can I just say 2 things very off
Something
topic?
To chew on, dude.
Yeah, no, that was a great question.
Please, for all things, don't bring up the Bears.
No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to. I wasn't going to. I have 2 comments in here that
I'm glad you did for Monday's show, but I can't take it all, and it's 1 game in.
No. I'm not bringing those guys up. I have 2 comments I want to make from the comments that made me laugh. Number one, or not
Warren
one's
Cox
real.
Never got back to me, by the way.
Number 1 was somebody said in the post game that Ross said Napoli called a double steal.
Really?
Yeah, no, Napoli's my favorite guy on this staff. I want to say
I'm
that.
I'm going to have to look into that.
I want to say that publicly. Napoli's my favorite coach on this staff. And the second thing is, and you're not going to like this, but I have to bring it up. just for some fun. Somebody said in the comments, and I see this so much more than Jan Gomes. They said that you're a doppelganger for Kirk Cousins, and I think it's actually pretty accurate.
I just got that from somebody recently.
You look like Kirk Cousins, and you guys have the same style.
Wow.
That is great. Who I should have saved that, but you know who you are. A shout out to you.
At least I won some big games.
No, you made a lot of money. You're not overpaid. Like Baez. And by the way, I'm sorry. I'm in a little bit of a happy mood. I just want to take you there. Jan Gomes has had more big hits this season than Wilson Contreras had in 3 years. I just want to say that to everybody out there. To everybody out there that used to say I was too hard.
People get offended by that.
Yeah, people might get offended, and if you do, so be it.
Wow, what an episode this was. As we still don't know if Justin Fields is an effective passer.
Oh, no. Let's not do that, dude. Let's not talk about how Eberflus didn't have that team ready to play, and he had 9 months to prepare.
Thank you so much for checking out this edition of Locked On Cubs. We're here each and every weekday.
Go Cubs.
Things Northsiders. Be sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube and hit follow on Apple and Spotify. And we're also streaming on SiriusXM.
It's Boxburger time.
He's Sam Olber. I'm
Curious,
Matt Cozy.
Brad.
This is Locked On Cubs.